Hey guys, we are rocking some Philippians. You are with me. We're like 4 days in. This is hardcore. I'm here in the studio at my house. This is where we do all the vocals for the Crowns records. So it's also where I keep all my stuff that my wife would not let me have. So quick show and tell. Got the Batmobile. Got the Incredible Hulk. It's Josh Hamilton, baseball. Albert Pujols, both Jesus loving, awesome fellas. And my lunchbox from kindergarten. So, boom. All right, we are in verse 12. Are you ready? We're looking at Paul, who is in prison, writing about joy, and he's really about to get into it right now. And there's a couple little nuggets we want to look at before we go into our day. You ready? Verse 12. I want you to know, brothers, that what has happened to me has really served to advance the gospel. So let's stop right there for a second. Can you hear what I just said? He just said. Let's read it again. Are you with me? You're not listening. You're reading. I want you to know, brothers, that what has happened to me has really served to advance the gospel. You know what he's talking about? Being in jail. Okay, he's in jail, prison. Nobody rolled their eyes at him when he talked about Jesus. Okay, he didn't get frowned at by the teacher because he has his Bible on his table. He's in prison. Okay, so this is like the darkest time of his life, and he's saying, "Hey, me being here in this pit, eating or not eating, being killed or possibly not being killed today, I'm not sure which, has turned out to advance the gospel." That is an amazing perspective. How in the world does somebody see like that? And what we're going to see in these next like 3 verses are 3 pretty awesome truths. You ready? It served to advance the gospel. So it has become known throughout the whole imperial guard and to all the rest that my imprisonment is for Christ. And most of all the brothers, having become confident in the Lord by my imprisonment, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. Okay, he just said some things in there that we want to lock onto before today. What he's saying here in a nugget is how you live your life in a storm speaks louder than probably anything else you'll ever say. You know, when people are going through high times, it's very hard to hear them tell you to keep the faith. But when people are going through dark times and they're telling you, like we heard Stephen Curtis Chapman last night, talking to the people in Newtown about the children they had lost in the shootings, and he's sitting there telling his story, and he's saying, God has brought us through this. You know, I had encouragement for the people of Sandy Hook, but not like Stephen did, because Stephen has been there, and they lost Maria, and it's still tearing holes in their heart, and God is still having to heal them. So he has a word that not even I can say. Well, that's what Paul is saying right here. So, in this dark place, these people in this church in Philippi know he's there. And they're listening to what he's saying, going, he is saying this? I was thinking I was going through persecution because I didn't get a raise, right? So it's putting everybody's down into the right level of the way they're thinking. So listen to this. There are 3 kinds of people mentioned in these 3 verses that are affected by how you handle a hard time, by taking the high road and loving Jesus through being hurt or persecuted. Are you ready? I want you to know, brothers, that what has happened to me has really served to advance the gospel. So, number 1, that it has become known throughout the whole imperial guard. That's number 1. And to all the rest, that would be everybody else in prison, that my imprisonment is for Christ, and most of the brothers, Christians, believers, are being confident in the Lord by my imprisonment, are much more bold to speak the truth without fear. So, when you go through a hard time, the imperial guard, those are the people that have authority over you. These are teachers, coaches, bosses, parents. Everybody can give a big testimony at the end of camp. But how you go through a hard time, if you can love Jesus through a hard time, those people that have power over you and authority over you watch you walk through something, taking the high road and loving Jesus through it anyway, and not pitching a fit and biting and screaming and yelling, that speaks to them louder than your words, especially parents and adults, especially. Like Paul told Timothy, don't let anybody look down on you because you're young, but you need to set an example in life and in love and in speech and in purity. The way you live is going to speak louder than what you say. Because you can say what you think all day, but you live what you believe, right? So how I live is going to affect the people in authority. Second group of people, all the rest, all the people that were in prison with him. Think about those guys. These are robbers, killers, thieves, whatever they are. They're guilty and in prison, and he's not guilty and in prison. He could be whining every day. He could be showing them the letters he's sending to the governor. He could be banging his cup on the bars if they had bars, going, I need freedom, I need freedom. And he's sitting there writing letters of encouragement to his friends back home. They're watching this. They're watching how he handles persecution. They're watching how he handles getting yelled at by a teacher or yelled at by a coach. They're watching how he handles a referee making a bad call. Oops. They're watching how people affect him and how he keeps himself, and it affects them. They're not real sure who Jesus is, but they see who Paul is, right? Well, there are a lot of people around you that are not real sure who Jesus is. All they've got are people that say Jesus and claim Jesus, and you're one of them. So man, you got to live it out in front of them. Take the high road when you're in a low place, yeah? And the third group that's always affected, he says the brothers. Man, he said the brothers back home, Christians, are hearing my story, and now they're even more bold to get out there and speak the truth with more boldness. That's good stuff. So when you're in a hard time, you're being persecuted or you're being fired or you're being yelled at or whatever persecution is looking like in your world right now, even if it's just being embarrassed in front of the class, everybody looks to you and sees, now what is he going to do? When you take the high road, you lift up Jesus, you give a peaceful response. You don't post on Facebook and Twitter in a sly way your grave hurt so everyone kind of knows what you're talking about. If you can pull all that back, and I can't say I always have, but if we can pull all that back and just say, I'm going to take this for you, Jesus. I'm going to take this. We're always wondering what persecution means. I mean, there's people in prison. There's people getting beaten and torn in two for their faith. And what is it for us? You know, what is persecution? Persecution is whatever it takes to shut you down. If all it takes to shut you down is somebody making fun of you, then that's persecution. That's the first level. That's the place where God's brought you that far, and you've got to decide if you're going to handle it or not. And I'm telling you that if you can take the high road, you can lift up Jesus in a hard time. People in authority are going to respect it. People who are lost are going to see Jesus in it. And believers are going to be challenged to step up to the level that you've stepped up to. So get out there and lift up Jesus, no matter if it works out for you in a situation or not, and you'll see God do something. God bless you guys. Hit me up on Facebook and let me know what's going on. Email me. Let me know how I can pray for you. And I'll let